Hey, welcome to our next pet video, and this one is going to be about some respiratory help that is necessary for humans and animals, right? I'm especially needing it this week myself. So there's an essential oil blend called Breathe with the company that I represent, and the important thing is, again, with our essential oils, we are always looking for pure, certified, and doing your research. So when we use them on pets, we're being really careful. We're treating them a lot like we treat our children when maybe needing to dilute and take some extra precautions. So the essential oil today, like I said, is Breathe. And the ingredients in that are laurel leaf, eucalyptus leaf, peppermint plants, melaleuca, lemon, cardamom, Ravensara leaf, and essential oil. It's like a minty, fresh, airy scent. It's much like your Vicks Vapor Rub scent, without any of the false and chemicals and all that jazz. There's no junk in it. There's just that pure essential oil mixture that's perfect for our respiratory system. So we really like to use this to open airways, cleanse our nasal cavity, just kind of doing either aromatic use or topical use. So this would not be one that you'd use internally, certainly not for people or pets. So great thing about this, it comes in different forms. So when you do use it on the pets, you do want to use probably the straight oil bottle, drop it in your hands, mix it with some of the carrier oil, like fractionated coconut oil. This is a great way to use it for your kids or yourself. I'll rub it on my chest, bottoms of the feet. I actually didn't know before I started using essential oils that people used to put Vicks Vapor Rub on the bottoms of their feet, knowing that obviously our feet are that gateway to our whole system. So that's a good way to use it as well. It does also come in a handy vapor stick, so safe for the kids to do on themselves and use them that way. It comes in respiratory throat lozenges, which are amazing. I've been using a lot of them myself, and they're delicious, and I love them. Okay, so got the ingredients down. You can diffuse, inhale directly from the palms, or rub on the chest or feet when seasonal and environmental threats are high. Use when outdoors to minimize the effects of seasonal threats. Diffuse at bedtime for a restful environment. So a lot of people do diffuse this at nighttime, maybe for snoring issues, different things like that. It would be one of the ones you'd use for any snoring concerns. And so when I've used this in a situation with the work that I've done in clinics, I have given samples of this out for clients that have come to me for questions about their little dogs doing what we call reverse sneezing. And it's an issue where the small dogs, either they're getting hyped up about something, they're excited, they're frantic, and they're just snorting backwards. And it's pretty uncontrollable. If you've ever experienced that with a small dog, it's traumatizing, and they're scared and you're scared and you don't know what's going on. But it's so very common. And I would give these samples out, and all they'd have to do when their dogs were having an episode is just hold that bottle up to their nose, and it would immediately stop. So if you have that situation, I recommend getting your hands on some of this, because it's really helpful for those little dogs, and they're stressing out when they're going through that episode. And so you want to do everything you can to minimize the length of those episodes. So the little bit about respiratory conditions, they can be the result of several conditions, including viruses, bacteria, fungal organisms, parasites, allergies, heart disease, and cancer. So if you didn't know, if your animal is having irregular respiratory issues, then really get down to the true meaning of that if you haven't already. Dogs and cats are also affected by secondhand smoke. So there's something to think about too. Most commonly, pets cough, sneeze, wheeze, and suffer from runny eyes and noses. Some pets cough so much that they vomit. So since these signs of respiratory disease, illness can indicate many different issues, it's best to see your veterinarian for a physical exam diagnostics and to get a diagnosis. And if it is just, hey, it's every now and then they've got these issues, then you don't have anything to worry about, and that's great. And then you can just use these essential oils to minimize those symptoms. And to help your pet breathe more easily and open up airway passages, apply this or eucalyptus or frankincense topically. You can diffuse Protective Blend, which is an immune blend, Respiratory Blend, eucalyptus, for several hours each day and night. If you diffuse this into the air, it's helping them in that way. Especially in the area where your pets sleep, obviously. This will help support the immune system, decrease airborne allergens and germs. So it's cleaning the air, and that's why it's helping, as well as those molecules going into their respiratory system. It's also cleansing the air, so they're getting less crud into their system while this is being diffused. So some things you can do, apply 1 to 2 drops of this 2 to 4 times a day. And you can just, for me, like I told you last week, we're going to put it in our hands, and what's left, you're going to hold it up to their face without putting it on their face, okay? So you're going to hold it up to their face, and then I just give a rub down of the chest. So what dog doesn't love that right between the front legs on their chest, a nice massage? So that's what I do for my dogs when we're having issues. And the back paws. So the pads of the paws are much like our feet, so gateway to the system, and excuse me, helping them access it that way. And since respiratory issues can bring on some stress, you can add lavender to these situations as well. 1 to 2 drops of lavender to ease that stress and in those viral cases of respiratory issues. So diffusing, you can't go wrong. You can't really overdo it, and the pet should always be able to leave the room if you are diffusing this. So I did want to read every week. I'm going to try to have a testimonial for you because I do have so many great ones that have been effective. So this one comes from a friend who we've been talking extensively about what she can use on her dogs, and she has a brand new puppy, 8 weeks old. And she says, I was up all night with a coughing puppy, so I called the clinic today because I don't know when to worry. But before work this morning, I put my diffuser in the room she is in, and with On Guard and Breathe. And tonight, returning home, she seems a million times better already. And then later on, this was like 2 days later, because she had already made an appointment with the veterinarian. She'd been up 3 nights in a row with continuously coughing her little heart out. So she had made an appointment with the veterinarian. So 2 days later, she wrote back again. She said she was in great health. Her lungs sounded perfectly clear. About the veterinarian, I don't think he believed she was actually sick, but I was up with her 3 nights in a row. So that's scary, and especially new puppies. It's just like babies. You don't know when to worry, and you don't know what's best, and if you're providing all you can. So it's great to have these tools. They're really powerful. So safety is so important, and we do want to be careful when it comes to using them. And any specialties on cats, basically the same thing. The applying it, just instead of 1 to 2 drops, just use 1 drop. And then the drop of lavender for those for respiratory illness to calm them. And in both cases, I mean, really to support your pet's immune system with a high quality diet and probiotics. So I always have my pets on those. So that's what I have for that. I hope that answers some questions. I know respiratory issues were so common working in a clinic, and we would get them all the time. And I wish I had had this opportunity to share with more people what they could have on hand that could really make a difference. So let me know if you have questions, and we'll see you next week.